covering the world of professional wrestling. This is The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome and thank you for tuning into another episode of The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. As always, I greatly appreciate your ongoing support. Without it, I'm serious, this show would not cease to exist. So if you would be so kind, and if you haven't already, subscribe wherever this podcast is available. That is YouTube, youtube.com/The Signature Spot, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Spreaker, and podcast apps such as Overcast. I'm not saying subscribe to them all. That's a daunting task, but at least one of them, if you would be so kind. And I'm all over social media, whether I like it or not, so be a part of the conversation. I post quite a bit on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/The Signature Spot, at Chris Toplack on Twitter, at The Signature Spot on Instagram, and thesignaturesspot.com for some blogs and exclusive content. Should also briefly note, if you follow me on Twitter, I live tweet during virtually every single pro wrestling event. That will remain true this coming weekend. That's why we're here to talk about AEW Fight for the Fallen and Extreme Rules. But first, I want to chat briefly about the G1 Classic. It kicked off last Saturday on American soil. It was in Dallas, Texas, from the American Airlines Arena. Many claimed, hey, Chris, the attendance was poor, but there was still about a healthy 6,000 in attendance, so it wasn't that bad, although to try and debut in an arena of that size was a little ambitious. A-block tournament match, Will Ospreay versus Lance Archer, was undoubtedly my favorite match, followed closely by Okada and Tanahashi. As you can expect, those two are magic together. Switching over to Raw, it was a big step down from last week's episode, and I'm convinced Vince's fingerprints were all over it. You could try to claim, hey, it was Paul Heyman's doing. I don't buy it. And as for SmackDown, we had the Kevin Owens pipe bomb promo. I enjoyed that. It far surpassed Raw in terms of overall quality in my eyes. But let's get to why we're here today. And that is predictions for AEW Fight for the Fallen and WWE Extreme Rules, and it starts right now.
Our topic of the week.
AEW Fight for the Fallen takes place this coming Saturday, July 13th, from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Proceeds from the gate will go to Jacksonville's Victim Assistance Advisory Council to help victims of violent crimes. It's very noble of them. If you're located in North America, this event will be streaming for free through Bleacher Report Live. If you're located outside of North America, Fight for the Fallen is available for pre-order on fight.tv. That is FITE.tv. The cost will be $12.99 or £8.99. I believe that's how you say it. I'll likely be corrected on that in the UK. The buy-in begins at 7:30 p.m. in the East. The main card begins at 8:15 p.m. in the East. Taking place on the buy-in, and this one was just recently added. It's supposed to be Sonny Kiss versus Peter Avalon with Leva Bates. Those are the two librarians. Let's hope, wishful thinking, Sonny Kiss disposes of Peter pretty quickly, and the librarian gimmick falls to the wayside. It's what we all want. This is very intriguing. Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc, and Joey Janela taking on the team of MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Sean Spears. It's a 6-man tag team match. It's basically Team Hardcore, the Misfit Toys, versus Team Arrogance. The main focal point in this match will, of course, be on MJF and Sean Spears. Following Spears viciously slamming a chair onto Cody's head. Meanwhile, MJF has deemed him public enemy number one. My prediction, Allen, Havoc, and Janela Team Hardcore, following a communication breakdown between MJF and Sean Spears. That seems all too inevitable to me. SoCal Uncensored. That's Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky with Christopher Daniels by their side, taking on the team of the Lucha Bros. That is Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. This match was really thrown together during the latest episode of Being the Elite. I'll be honest, I watched it, not really fully focused on the episode, and I completely missed the fact that this match was announced. So all of a sudden, I saw it spring up, and I thought, where? And it was on that episode. It was uploaded days ago. I do look forward to the long-term feuds in the fall, as this tag team match was literally thrown together with zero story involved. But that being said, it should still be very entertaining. My prediction, the Lucha Bros. Brandy Rhodes versus Ali up next. I have a great deal of respect for Brandy's work ethic and passion, but her in-ring work has never stood out to me, and I'm just being honest here. She's excellent when it comes to being a manager, an on-screen character, and of course in reality, the chief branding officer. But I would have much preferred to see someone else receive an opportunity to shine here. As for Ali, she's coming off a poor performance against Leva Bates at Fyre Fest. So if you're in her shoes, you want to erase that from our memories. My prediction, Brandy Rhodes gets the W. Next, Kenny Omega versus CIMA. Again, I don't believe this will be the order, but this is the order I'm predicting the matches in. An early contender for match of the night. Under the tutelage of the great Ultimo Dragon, CIMA has quietly put together an impressive 20-year-plus career. If you haven't seen his work in Dragon Gate, I highly recommend it. He's 41 years old, but he proved against Christopher Daniels that he's capable of putting together a high-caliber match. And with this being such a high-level opponent like Kenny Omega, the possibilities are endless. I much prefer Kenny Omega in a competitive singles match, so this is great for him. CIMA will look fantastic here, but the outcome seems pretty obvious in my eyes. The prediction, Kenny Omega gets his arm raised. Hangman Adam Page versus Kip Sabian. After winning the Fatal 4-Way at Fyre Fest, Hangman Page won the right to face Kip Sabian. My only issue with this match is really the lack of stakes. What did Page earn other than just another match? Same applies to Kip, by the way. Either way, Kip debuted at AEW Double or Nothing against Sammy Guevara in one of the best matches of the evening, easily one of my favorites. While he's more of a high flyer, Page sticks to the fundamentals, and it does him very well. This will be an excellent clash of styles, and I expect real chemistry between these two. In fact, this could be a sleeper for match of the night. My prediction, Hangman Adam Page. He will be kept strong ahead of his main event match against Chris Jericho at All Out. Furthermore, I think Chris Jericho will either interfere at some point or at least make an appearance post-match. And in the main event, it's the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson taking on the Brotherhood, reunited and it feels so good, Cody and Dustin Rhodes. Cody didn't need a partner or a friend. He needed his older brother, his delivery much better than mine. Cue the Waterworks. The emotional conclusion of their match at Double or Nothing laid the groundwork for this one, and the Brotherhood is back together. As for the Young Bucks, they have remained undefeated under the AEW banner. Well, it seems logical for that to continue since they will be sticking together for the long run as a tag team. A victory for Cody and Dustin would really send the fans home happy. My prediction, the Brotherhood gets their arms raised. Fight for the Fallen will very likely be a step down from Double or Nothing, but a step up from Fyre Fest just a couple of weeks ago.
You're listening to The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack.
Now we switch promotions entirely. WWE Extreme Rules takes place this coming Sunday, July the 14th from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They know a thing or two about going extreme, the former home of ECW. This marks the 11th event under the Extreme Rules banner. And even though this shouldn't be in the pre-show, it deserves much better. I'm sure it will find itself there for the Cruiserweight Championship. Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese. Drew Gulak won the Cruiserweight Championship at Stomping Grounds in a triple threat match. It surprised me with Nese and Akira Tozawa involved. Continuity certainly wasn't at play since former champions tend to receive immediate rematches, right? But in this case, no. Nese had to defeat Akira Tozawa to earn a rematch. Either way won't matter because my prediction, Drew Gulak retains. For the Raw Tag Team Championship made at the 11th hour, as per usual, the Revival. That's Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder taking on the Usos. That's Jimmy and Jay. It's refreshing to see this match without the dependency on corny comedy segments. Could do without those. These are easily two of the best tag teams in the world. If you disagree, you must be crazy. A victory for Jimmy and Jay, by the way, would mark their 7th title reign. That's amazing. But will it happen this Sunday? I don't believe so. My prediction, the Revival retain. They're so early into their reign, but stranger things have happened with them, of course. I don't know about you, but I'm always keeping my eye on any WWE card because at the last minute, you never know what sort of match will be added. For the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, it's Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the Planet's champions, versus The New Day and Heavy Machinery. Originally, it was just intended to be The New Day involved, but Otis and Tucker were added after defeating Owens and Ziggler on a recent episode of SmackDown. Admittingly, I'm not a big fan of triple threat tag team matches, but this could potentially be very good. Heavy Machinery saw their stock rise dramatically, by the way, after a very competitive match against Bryan and Rowan at WWE Stomping Grounds. But here, I believe the Planet's champions retain. That's going to be a theme throughout these predictions. Daniel Bryan and Rowan get their arms raised. The Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. He's getting a lot of go-away heat recently, and Drew McIntyre. Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre have been at odds with Roman Reigns for months. It needs to end. It's seemingly going on forever. It picked back up again, much to the chagrin of the fans, but The Undertaker adds a completely new dynamic to this match. Taker came to Roman's rescue on Raw a few weeks ago, and according to Taker's promo, he wasn't asked. Now, with Kevin Owens really targeting Shane McMahon on the recent episode of SmackDown, I suspect he gets involved. But either way, my prediction, The Undertaker and Roman Reigns will win this match, and this will reportedly lead to Taker versus McIntyre at SummerSlam. Logically, Owens and Shane McMahon at SummerSlam as well. Knock, knock. Who's there? Cesaro. It's not a joke. It's actually what happened. Ever since parting ways with Ricochet, Aleister Black has been trapped in a promo room. It's been weird. He's been begging anyone to challenge him. I thought if he was begging somebody so bad, he would just go to the middle of the ring. And at one point, someone knocked on the door and then promptly disappeared. I originally predicted it would be the Viper Randy Orton. I was wrong. It's Cesaro. It was heavily rumored, by the way. And he's going to be a tough challenge. And this will lead to an even better match between the two. But my prediction is Aleister Black emerges victorious. How underwhelming would it be if Aleister Black, after months of pleading and begging someone to challenge him, lost the match because all momentum is lost with him? Highly doubtful that occurs. For the SmackDown Women's Championship, it is Bayley, the champ, defending against not just one, but two opponents in a handicap match. That's Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss came up short at Stomping Grounds, but then Cross earned Bliss another opportunity at the title. Now, whether it happens here or months from now, inevitably it's going to lead to Bliss turning on Cross in a feud between the two. Now, Cross proved to be even more helpful on Monday when she defeated Dana Brooke in a Beat the Clock challenge, and that's how the stipulation was made to make it a handicap match. Now, there's been some predictions, maybe a red herring though, you never know, that Sasha Banks could show up, and I predict that's actually going to happen because she's dyed her hair back, she's training, she'll likely show up to either even the odds or perhaps even turn on Bayley, which I would much prefer. But either way, my prediction is Bayley retains. For the United States Championship, I don't even have somebody to predict as the winner. That's how conflicted I am, but it's the champion, the one and only Ricochet versus the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. After AJ Styles defeated Ricochet on Raw, the two rematch where Ricochet got his victory back. The series is at 1-1, but AJ has the numbers advantage. He's got the club, the Good Brothers, in his corner. They're officially back together. AJ is the heel. You can hear it in my voice. I'm very conflicted here. I don't know which way to go. I believe if a title change takes place on this pay-per-view, this would be the likely candidate, but I'm going to say Ricochet retains. In a last man standing match, it's Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. The last we saw Braun Strowman, he was taking Bobby Lashley through the stage set of Raw. Somehow, Lashley came out unscathed and even dismantled Rey Mysterio recently on Raw. I do believe Strowman will come back fiercer than ever before. It's rumored he's going to have a big push. It's going to start here. My prediction, Braun Strowman returns with a vengeance. I'm anxiously awaiting this one for the WWE Championship. It is Kofi Kingston defending against Samoa Joe. Once Samoa Joe dropped the United States Championship, a main event feud with either Rollins or Kingston seemed like the next logical step. Why? Samoa Joe is one of the most believable and dangerous characters on the main roster, and he can be inserted into any World Championship feud at any point in time. That is very rare, I may add. Last week, Kingston showed his aggressive side when he flipped off Joe, could come back to bite him, and he proceeded to hit him with Trouble in Paradise. I would love to see Samoa Joe have a run with the championship. Will it happen here? I'm not so sure. The safe bet is Kofi Kingston retains. And it's the main event, at least likely will be, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Both championships are on the line. That's why it's billed as winners take all. Also worth noting, pretty important, it's an Extreme Rules match as well. I would hope that at least one match would be billed as such on a pay-per-view titled Extreme Rules. Now here's the stipulation. If Rollins and Lynch win, Corbin and Evans will never challenge for their respective titles again. Now if Corbin and Evans win, they receive both championships. I'm not sure about you, but all four of these individuals need to go their separate ways, find fresh feuds against somebody else at SummerSlam. Ideally, Bray Wyatt would be a great opponent for Seth Rollins. My prediction, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch retain. Hopefully, as I noted, this leads to Bray Wyatt debuting and challenging Rollins, whether it's here or the next night on Monday Night Raw. Whew. I don't know about you, but it feels like we covered a lot on this edition of the program. 2 sets of predictions for 2 events that could be potentially great, but there's 2 more. I'm not going to predict them, but worth noting as we wrap up. Evolve, the 10th anniversary, takes place this coming Saturday, 8 p.m. on the WWE Network. That's right, competing head-to-head with Fight for the Fallen. Personally, I'm going to watch this event the very next day, but a few notable matches on here I'm looking forward to. For the NXT Championship, Akira Tozawa versus Adam Cole, Drew Gulak versus Matt Riddle. So those 2 are standouts. Plus, the G1 Classic tournament continues all throughout the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. If you're in the U.S., you can watch, I believe, most of it on Access TV or, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling World. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. If you would be so kind, keep spreading the word to your friends, family, and fellow wrestling fans. Like, subscribe, listen, do what you do. You know I appreciate it. And until next Thursday, happy trails to you until we meet again.
This concludes another episode of The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack. For new episodes, subscribe on YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. And don't forget to follow The Signature Spot on Facebook for exclusive clips, polls, and opinions.
In spite of the